Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Yours in this gospel, by lifting up the standard of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just another quick lesson through the Spirit. This is CNN business. So funny how this particular topic keeps coming up, circumventing around cashless society systems, the technocracy, the fourth industrial revolution, and yes, the RFID C-HIP. Like I said, you had these guys by the name of Watchmen for Israel. Mainly this guy in the middle here. This guy's this proud demon in the middle, and I'm gonna call him exactly what he is. This dude is proud as hell. You know, you can't really tell him anything because he swear he got it. But basically, these niggas did a 5-hour breakdown, or totally butchered it on what the mark is. And out of all these videos that we've been coming out with, I mean, just the way that the world is moving, even if you, let's say if you don't listen to us, okay, you can cast us to the side. Fuck what we said. Look all around you. Look at the world that you're indulging in. Okay, look at the way that technology is advancing. Like, what the fuck you guys are stuck in the 18th century or something, man? Like, get on board with it, bro. Pay attention. But see, this is where pride and contention comes in, that because the scriptures say that some teach you how to shy out of contention and strife. And that's what these guys are doing. Because look at this nigga. He's proud as hell, man. And the Most High is going to do something to that dude if he don't repent. Because I've been saying it for years, this guy wasn't right. You know, I mean, we've known he was proud, you know, but we really wasn't really on a case like that because, you know, they was out teaching and they stayed in their lane. But the Spirit of the Lord is shining light on these men now because they got to get corrected. So if they don't take heed to the correction and teach the right doctrine, and eventually the Most High is going to get them out of there. Like one of the head brothers said in a video yesterday, he said, look, I'm gravitating towards two things. Either these men took the purse or they going to take the C-HIP. And honestly speaking, I think both, man, because they got to convince themselves that it is not that, so they can be justified on taking it. But see, the Lord, he has he'll put you in a trick bag, and he will put you in a mind frame to make you believe that you're speaking on the truth and you're not. Okay, scriptures say to deceive and the deceiver are his. So all your studious videos and your studying that you do, you can't seem to come across or break down one prophecy. Okay, let alone your doctrine is off too. But we're in it there. But nonetheless, this is another article here. Visa offers restaurants $10,000 if they stop accepting cash. So question, if we're not going to accept cash anymore, then what is going to be the next form of payment? Okay, what happens when they phase out debit cards and credit cards? What phase out when the particular Apple Pay and the Smart Pays, when those particular algorithms go offline? What do you think they're going to use? Because even one of the top guys I don't think he was at the WEF, but I think he was like, he may have been in league with them, but it's like a couple of weeks, he made a mention. He said, look, the UBI, which stands for Universal Basic Income, or the CBDC systems, he said that's just a complement to getting the C-HIP. They said they're using those particular systems and gravy trains so people can get fitted with that microscopic tag. He said that. So what in the fuck is wrong with you guys out there that you can't see this? And we've done several breakdowns on Revelation 13, 16 through 18. I know me personally, I've done at least 100 videos on that, on those two verses alone, and going into it, and we're breaking it down thoroughly. We went into it at camp last week, you know, when they had their speech at the WEF, Davos in Switzerland, I believe, about a month ago. This is what they was talking about. They was talking about the collapsing of this system in a roundabout way and setting up the digital infrastructures. But you got men like this that swear they know it all, that come in and disrupt shit because they feel they can do so. And the Most High is going to make a public example out of guys like this, man. Because you niggas only been around, what, 5, 6, 7 years maybe? But now you on some level. Like, look at the pumpiness in this guy. Just look at the pumpiness on this dude. And honestly speaking, I don't even know this guy, but I never vibe with his spirit. I've never resonated with his spirit, and I'll say it that way. because he just had a real foul spirit to me, and just reading it through the spirit, now it comes out. So honestly speaking, if I wouldn't even deal with this dude if he was to come up to the camp. Honestly speaking, it'd be a shalom then bye. I wouldn't have the patience in dealing with a man like that, because I know I get aggravated, and then I get aggravated, and through the spirit, you're gonna get cursed out, and you're gonna get sent up the street. You're gonna get cut with the scriptures, and you're gonna leave feeling some type of way. So to avoid that, you just, hey, shalom, brother, bye. Have a nice day. Because the scriptures say after one or two admonishments, reject. And I'm gonna keep going over the same thing with these guys, but the Most High has it to the point that this prophecy is getting ready to be fulfilled, and a lot of eyes are gonna be pretty much just a lot of how can I say it? A lot of jaws are getting ready to be dropped. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of hands on cheeks and despair. Oh my God, them GMS guys got it right. And watch these dudes, they're gonna try to fit it in their doctrine and say, well, we've been teaching that. Watch what the IUIC do. Okay, watch what Johanna or Tazara Quack do. Look at what these men are gonna do when it comes time to do damage control. But we got the evidence and the videos that none of you niggas taught the RFID chip being the MARK of the beast. You never taught that. You came against it. Out of all the information that been coming out, because Great Millstone been bringing it out nonstop, you niggas decided to buck up against it. Because you're not the prophets, man. Like Apostle Tara said, you guys, you play prophets. You're not prophets, man. Them guys are not prophets, man. They're just men that's out there to try to get a name for themselves, and that's it. And this is the reason why they can't understand the truth in its entirety. All right? But anyway, it says they're calling it Visa Cashless Challenge. You see, this is the switching bait here. Okay, they throw that challenge shit in there, and this is how they do. This is how Esau works. He works through subtlety. Okay, he works through supplanting you. All right, and we're going to get into it. But it says the plan to convince small business restaurants, which the small restaurants, the small privately owned businesses, they're on their way out of here. Okay, most of them may not even last through the rest of this year. And they're talking about global recessions hitting at least 1/3 of the world. So, yeah, they're out of here. And if we end up facing another shutdown, you can forget about your mom and pop stores. Those were done away with back in 2020. So it's just a matter of time. But it says the plan is to convince small business restaurants, cafes, and food trucks to stop accepting cash, forcing customers to pay with credit cards or digital payments, man. Okay, what's a form of a digital payment? Let's get it. Form of a digital payment. Forms RFID digital payment. See what it says. RFID cashless payment systems. You scan, it says Mini Express RFID self-checkout portal. Look at this. It says the C-HIP implant that lets you pay with your hand. That's a digital payment, man. Okay. Payment technology implanted in your hand becomes the first that can be used. It says the CHIP needs to be implanted by a specialist wallet more. The RFID and the NFC plants have been available on market since 2013. Now, they get at us because they say, well, this been out. Yeah, the technology has been around for some time. I mean, think about it. Look at your key fobs. Look at credit cards. I mean, look at your cell phones. It all has this technology in it. Okay, but it hasn't been mandated yet. Okay, it's not mandatory that you get this. Okay, because it's not mandatory. Okay, but they got this thing coming out, I believe, in Houston. I believe in June. Well, not in June, but they mentioned that in June, pets have to be microchipped. But it came out last month that all animals are going to have that C-HIP hit in them. So that's another way of them coercing you into getting this, you know what, before they actually force it upon you. See, they want you to get it before they force it, because that way, when they get majority of the people to take it, they have less a fight on their hands. Okay, people that they gonna have to force it upon, that's gonna do military action. For those of the remnant of us that say, fuck that, we're not dealing with it. All right. But anyway, but it says here, the plan is to convince small restaurants and cafes and food trucks and truck stops to accepting cash, forcing customers to pay, to pay with credit cards or digital payments. It says Visa will be awarding up to $500,000 to 50 eligible U.S.-based small business food services. So you think people ain't going to want to take that startup money? That's the bribery. That's the bait right there. Okay, well, we give you money if you stop using cash. But what's the whole point of you giving me digital tokens, but then I can't use anything feasible or tangible? How is that going to benefit you in the long run when they can just take it from you? Okay, it says U.S. small business food services owners who commit to joining the 100% cashless quest, the credit card company wrote in the press. It says in restaurant ops, it'll get in $10,000 gift form from Visa to help pay for technology upgrades. So basically, they're paying you to upgrade your system so you can do away with cash, man. Because the scriptures goes into how the money is gonna fail. You see, and this is the plan of the New World Order, man. They're trying to get this up and running. This is gonna be the way of the future. It says the company said those tech upgrades could mean installing platforms that accept payments from phones, smartwatches, and other devices, which all is C-HIP capable. Okay, your phone, your watches, all that has the particular technology for the C-HIP. Okay, so let's get a couple of precepts real quick. I don't want to rant too much. Because the money fell it, then people were going to start just doing away with money. Money is going to be burning in the streets. When they realize that this system is went over to cashless, people are going to start really burning the money in the streets. They're not going to be able to do anything with it. It's going to be used for toilet paper. Like one scene in The Last of Us Part 2, the video game, it's a part when you're in downtown. I think you're in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. You come across this bank that these people try to rob on outbreak night. Because it continues from the first one. It's the same, story. It just continues on. But basically, long story short, when you go inside the bank, you see millions of dollars and shit like that. People try to rob the bank, but the money is still there. Because what you're going to do when you have a systematic collapse where money is not tangible or feasible anymore, people are going to be like, well, we ain't going to need the money. Shit. Have $100,000 in a briefcase of cash laying around. Because it ain't going to mean anything in that day. Okay, but it says here, this is Ezekiel 7, and I'm going to start at verses 17. It says, all hands should be feeble, and all knees should be weak as water. Okay, it says weak as water. It says, and they should guard themselves with sackcloth, and horror should cover them, and shame should be upon all faces, and baldness upon all heads, right? Because the coming judgments, the famines, okay, people are going to realize that they've negated the truth for their folly. All right. And it says, and they should cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed, and their silver and their gold should not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. It says they should not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. Okay, but the point I wanted to make, it says they're going to cast their silver in the streets because this new system that's coming, it ain't going to be you ain't going to be able to go to Burger King and say, let me get a Whopper with extra such and such, and you put out a $10 Federal Reserve note. They're going to look at you like, we don't deal with that no more. Okay? And this is the whole point of credit cards, phones, NFC payments, and so forth, to pretty much get you desensitized and getting you in the mindset of prepping you. Okay? The elites, they use a term, what they call gradualism. Okay? Get another precept here. This is the book of Daniel 8, and I'm going to start at verses 25, okay? Now, we're going to validate the scripture because we understand that this has happened, okay? But we got to validate the scriptures. You got to, what they say, approve it, so to speak, But it says, and through his policy, he should cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he should magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall he destroy many, okay? Because they're coming to you with a peaceful solution. Well, we want everybody to be happy. We want to set up 15-minute cities that you don't have to have an hour commute for work and be late. No, it's all the slave system. Okay, this is the final concept of the New World Order. And if you look at every New World Order that they have set up, the Most High has upset it every fucking time. Okay, going to the time of Nimrod, the Tower of Babel. Okay, when they set up a tower to try to go into the heavens, the Most High came and confounded the languages and mixed them up among the nations and dispersed them. That failed. Okay, you got a time of Antiochus, okay, which was a general Alexander the Great, Antiochus IV to be exact. He set up a concept that everybody should be under one rule, one dominion, okay, because he was basically trying to finish up what Alexander had started with building these particular cities and, cities of convenience for people. And a lot of Israelites, they opted out of their faith, okay, of keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to live a more convenient lifestyle. And what happened after that? Once Jake didn't bow down to the New World Order, they set up the Maccabees, which the Most High rose up the Maccabees to come against the system. And it's going to be the same thing in this day. When they're trying to micro C-HIP everybody, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to raise up a standard, man. Okay, so we already know what's coming and we know what to expect. But through the spirit, man, we just let it play out because that's what it is. All right. But it says through his policy, he should cause craft to prosper in his hand. And this is craftiness right here. Because what it says here, it says if a restaurant opts in, it gets a $10,000 gift from Visa to help pay for technology upgrades. That's craftiness right there. Because he's basically giving you a gift to push tyranny. Okay, he's giving you something to make it seem like, okay, this is the benefit of what you're doing. And it says, and the company said those tech upgrades can mean installing platforms that accept payments from phones, smartwatches, or other devices. Why can't you other Israelites see this shit, man? Why can't you, Cesariak, or I ain't even gonna mention General Yohana. He's like literally insignificant at this time. But what about Nate, you know? What about you other camps? Now, Sakari teaches that the MOTB is the C-HIP, but they're not really pushing it like that either. You know, they're not doing as many shows on it as we do because deep down inside, they're not even the prophets, man. I mean, they out teaching, and honestly, they get a lot of credit for what they do. But me personally, I don't really extol those men to a high cloud. Now, I'm not saying you don't have elect men there, but I just don't see what I don't see the righteousness in the dudes, man. But it's this ain't about me either. That's just my opinion. You don't have to accept it. You can accept it. You don't have to. That's just my opinion. We don't have to have any forms of validation. But honestly, I don't see them being a man of the Lord either. But hey, so be it. But it says Visa has a clear incentive. Credit card companies charge processing fees and tax on other charges to business that accept their cards and payments. And that is true. I noticed about 2 years ago, maybe 3, certain gas stations that you go to and you use your debit card, they'll charge you an upcharge, sometimes 30%, sometimes $1. Or if you go to like Dollar Tree or places like any dollar store, or you go to Family Dollar, what happens is if you want to use the cashback option, they charge you a minimum of $1, okay, a percent to get your own money back, which shows you that they're gravitating towards the system, okay? It says, but those fees can cut painfully into the margins of any small business, and it can mean life or death for a small mom and pop shop. And that's the point. They don't want any mom and pop shops here. Okay, that's not what they want. They don't want independent business owners because they want to lock you up into the system. Because mom and pop shows, they can operate as long as they pay their taxes and meet their margins and so forth and their profits. They go undetected. But now they want everybody on the books at all times. Why? Because they want to monitor and track you. Okay? It says, but Marco Carbajo, a credit expert, wrote in 2013, U.S. Small Business Administration blog post that fees for credit card transactions can cause up to 5% of their revenue. But it says Visa claims that it has proof that cutting out cash can help small businesses. It says that company said it conducted a study that has found if businesses and cities across the United States stop accepting cash, they can bring in billions more each year. See, that's the bait. It says in New York City alone, Visa says the study shows business could generate an additional $6.8 billion in revenue and save more than 186 million hours in labor per year. Okay, whatever that blase is, but this is what they're using to bait and switch you people, man. Okay, because at the end of the day, they want to C-HIP everybody. And this is what we've been going into for the longest. Revelation 13, and I'm going to start at verses 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, we went into this before. Okay, now we got to do it again. Because you got guys out there that seem to negate this. Because they can go into it, but they don't ever go into buying and selling. Like, how can you buy and sell with a philosophy? How can you buy and sell if it's spiritual? Go to verses 18, break that down. They would never do so. Okay, they would never understand, or they would never do so because the Spirit was not giving it to them to do so. Okay, but it just tells you here it's physical. It says a stamp and imprinted mark. Okay, you print something on somebody, that's a physical act. Okay, what the fuck does it say that it's spiritual at? I'm not reading it. It says a mark stamped on the foreheads in the right hand of the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. And then this fucking clown gonna say some Oh, well, it got to say RFID in the definition for me to believe it. Negro, are you stupid? Have you ever heard of parabolic talk or prophetic talk? Do you know that the scriptures are written in code? Like the elder apostle made an excellent example. He said, well, it ain't going to say Haitians or Negroes or Native Americans in the Bible either. It ain't going to say ICBM nuclear missiles. It's not going to say America in the Bible. So that's a fucking dumb argument, man. That's a stupid argument. That's called semantics right there. That's called you being trapped up. You don't have no way out. Okay? But it says followers. It says a mark branded upon horses. Now, you go into digital alls or alls. If you go into farmland or you drive in the Midwest, you will see these cows and these particular goyim or these cattle fit with alls around their ears. They got an awl. It's like an earring, and then it has a tag on it on where it belongs to. So this system is basically the digital all that they want to put into you. And it has particular code numbers in it. Okay, it has particular serial numbers in it. And they're able to track you based on the number that they scan. Because it's all going to be linked up to this smart database. So you get pulled over by the cops. They can swipe your hand. They have a scanner. You swipe your hand. And then all your information will pop up. That way you ain't got to go in your back pocket and reach for your driver's license or risk getting shot because they feel like you're reaching for the peace, you know, and then you get what you got to get and then you be gone. Same thing, your medical records pop up. It's basically a digital social security card, man, but more thorough. All right. It says things carved, sculpture, or graven work of idolatrous images. Okay, charagma. That's the root word of a charagma. All right, and it's not a hard concept to understand. For those of you that may understand or that may be in the spirit, it says a pillar or stake, a rampant pales between in which earth, stones, trees, timbers, and headed are packed. But it says pales, which means inserted, karax. All right, if you can receive it. And it says in their foreheads that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, here's wisdom. Let him that understand and count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 6. All right, y'all never go into that. Done several videos on this, man, breaking this whole thing down. All right, now Esau, he gets a little simple with it, but if you understand the what is it called, the zai, and the stigma. Okay, when you stick or stigma or like stigmata means it's a mark. Like it was a movie that came out called Stigmata back in the 90s. And these was actually physical marks of that particular entity that was possessing the dude in the movie. Those are physical. Stigmatism or something. Stig means to physically implant in you or physically put on you. All right. And then you got, I believe you got, Salakia. You got Zai, and stigma, and I believe the middle one here is the staff of Asclepius, which goes into like the medical practices and so forth. Okay, you look up that, and you look up the Zai in the Greek, and you go into the Greek god of Asclepius. That's the god of medicine, which ties it all to the medical industry. Because when you drive past these medical centers, you see the Blue Cross Blue Shield, you see the shield, and you see the serpent and the needle. Okay, and this represents that serpent, that staff. Okay, so, I mean, it's pretty much plain as day as what they're trying to do with this new setup. If you can't see it, then, you know, that's on you. But anyway, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and Abba Shalom.